play in 3, 2, 1, play. Hello everybody and welcome to Dynamic GT League Serpent Series for Race 5 from Circuit du Spa Shop or Franco Shop. I got it wrong, Ray. How are you, Ray?
I'm doing very well.
Good. Good. You looking forward to Spa?
What, you taking me to a spa?
No, I just asked if you was looking forward to Spa. I mean, if you want me to make your face all hot and sweaty, I'm sure I could do that, but you might not enjoy it. Okay, we've had a quick look at the standings there. Steve F1 leading the way. Demon R with a victory last week, closing that gap right up. Come on.
Start again. I've not even pressed play.
Fucking hell!
You can keep that in, right? We'll start again. Just keep it going. Tell me about this.
We're going. Well, I'll keep it in, but we're going back to the start. Okay, so the bit where I counted down and said play didn't trigger anything that. Oh dear.
I was too busy getting the door shut.
I was thinking, how many drinks have you had while you've been waiting for me?
I've not even finished my first one. You'd think I had all of them.
Yeah, I would have expected you to down a few. Right, okay. Let's get ready then. Okay. Countdown to play, where when I've counted down and said play, Ray, you can press play, okay?
Okay.
That could be a song. Play, Ray, but play, okay. Okay. 3, 2, 1, play. Hello everybody and welcome again to Dynamic GT League Serpent Series for Race 5 from the Circuit du Spa Franco Shop. And joining us on commentary is Ray. How are you, Ray?
I'm doing very well, seeing you did know you got it wrong first time.
I know, no one will know. Okay, looking at the standings, Steve F1 leading the way still. Demon R with his win last week though, closes that gap right up. SGP drops to third, Art Pal's still there in the hunt as well. Jimmy doing well in 5th place, we'll see how he gets on today at Spa. Or will we? Because he's not actually in the race, unfortunately, he can't make it today. Unfortunately, a few of the drivers unable. No, he didn't.
Fucking
arsehole. I know. As we're about to take a look at the grid, unfortunately, we are short on drivers today. There's only 9. A couple of drivers unable to make it last minute, which is massively unfortunate. As we see Demon R on pole position, Steve F1 in 2nd place. And in qualifying, Ray, there was a sprinkling of rain, which made qualifying a little bit difficult.
Oh, did it? And
Yeah.
we get the American Conrad in 3rd. Nelly, he's American as well. Look at that side of his car.
Yeah.
4th. And then we've got the Art Pal in 5th.
Yeah.
And Twilight 6th. And how did the rain go in quali?
Well, looking at SGP down there in 7th, you can clearly tell not well for him. Gary in 8th and Richard 9th. Go on, you were going to say something.
He can't drive in the rain anyway.
He can't, can he? No, he can't. Right.
Been in his car. Fucking scary as fuck.
It's too right. We're at 5 lines! And away we go! Oh, it's a very slow start. I think the lights were held on.
Twilight.
Oh, you know.
Very, very slow.
Yeah, I think he may have jump started as Steve F1 looked at the inside. Now looking at the outside. Conrad up the inside. Nelly holding off Art Pal. Rich Blues making a move up the inside. And Gary into turn 1. Demon R's got a little.
Is that not SGP? It's SGP, is it? Oh,
no. He made the move
Twilight?
on. No, Twilight's dropped to the back. SGP's in front of Rich Blues. But Rich Blues made the move on Gary. Nelly through Rouge, though, as Connor and Art Pal side by side. We talked last week about how those two have been having a few battles over the last few championships as SGP makes a move on Conrad out of nowhere. He'll be happy with himself with that. He's looking to make a move on Art Pal as well.
Yeah, and this, I don't know, name of this turn, but Art Pal's off track.
Is it Lecom? Or is Lecom's? No, I think Lecom's actually the first corner. I could be wrong though. I shouldn't really know. Okay, it's getting a little bit bunched up at the back. There it's Richard, Twilight side by side. Gary and Art Pal side by side. Conrad dropped back from Nelly a little bit throughout the course of that little battle. Oh, SGP! Oh, actually no, he's slowing down, isn't he? Okay, so go
He must have thingied that pal then.
He must have done what to what, pal?
He must have thingied that pal.
Oh, fingered.
You know, keep it in the family.
Alright,
He
alright.
must have smacked him.
Oh.
Smacked him off.
Smacked him up the arse and into the gravel.
Or whacked him off.
Oh dear.
I don't
Ooh!
know. I used a bit of rednecks.
Well, very nearly ended up smacking each other off again there as Arpal got massively sideways on the curb. Very easily done. Looking up at the front, Demon R's opened up a bit of a gap. Steve F1 might not quite be in slipstream as Gary now fended off Arpal and SGP. Oh, Twilight running a bit wide. I can say though that Twilight is struggling with his legs today, so he isn't actually on his wheel. He is using the alternative input device, so he may struggle a little bit in this race. Gary,
Is he drinking or something? He's a bit legless.
Oh, boom, boom. Okay, Gary SGP side by side Arpal with the switchback, gets the run on both of them. Oh, Twilight spin in the background.
Is Arpal going to get SGP into turn 1? Is SGP going to late break and then park it? I can't see. Oh, it looks like he's just got it. Would you want to go side by side up LaRouche or whatever?
Not really. If you are already side by side, yeah, give it a go. If you're not, yeah, it's not worth getting side by side.
He went
a little bit wide enough. He might do, because he did go a little bit wide over the crest. He may get away with it though. SGP making the move.
So I think it would have been done by now before this braking zone and the chicane. Is it?
Well,
it should be holding the inside line.
The thing is, it won't show us if he has got a penalty because we're not on board with him at the moment. Yeah. So we may see it if we do go on board with Arpal. Okay, up at the front, Demon R has opened up the gap, but the Pat Cam is currently riding on board with Steve F1 as they go through no name. And is it just me, Ray, or does it look like it's getting a little bit darker, a little bit misty, maybe?
Yeah, you can see that the way the lights go when it, when it starts to get foggy. I look up at the top of the mountain there, you can see just a level of mist.
Yeah. Okay, Arpal got the move done on the way into Puan, and on the run now to college. I believe it's called campus. Well, it's called both college and campus. Yeah, nice little chicane this. The weather is definitely coming in by the looks of it. Unfortunately, we don't get to see a weather forecast. We can see what has happened for the prior 60 minutes to the race start, but there was no weather or inclement weather.
It was getting darker.
Isn't it?
You can see the lights. But what's the word I'm looking for? Like, although they get brighter, but
like this image here with Nelly, they're getting kind of reflected out by Rich Blues. Rich has got no tyres left.
He's on the intermediates.
He is on the intermediates. Oh dear, I think that may have been an error from Rich Blues, one that he was not expecting to make, I would guess. As I mentioned, there was a bit of weather in qualifying.
Twilight.
Yes, he is. Okay, so I mentioned there was a bit of weather in qualifying, and one of the things that we know is that whatever the weather is in qualifying, unless the lobby gets reset, that is kind of what the weather will be like at the start of the race. So if we had a bit of wetness coming in qualifying, we could be having that now, and that'll be why Rich will be on the intermediate tyres, because he's carried them over from qualifying. Not that he wanted to be on them. Twilight might be switching to the inters here in anticipation of some rain. As SGP looking at making the move, but it's looking ever mistier.
Yeah, isn't it?
Yeah, Twilight is on the intermediate tyres in preparation for the rain, but I'm not seeing any rain at the moment, Ray, which means his tyres.
Well, you can see the lights on shining up the road.
Yes.
It's going. If there was a little bit of rain, it's coming. Oh, window wipers are going. SGP's window wipers are going.
Okay, so, well, you know what? Looking down at, you know what? The headlights have gone fuzzy. Oh, the rain is definitely coming down now. Can they get through? Can they get through? Okay, this is a critical junction in this race now. Do the drivers pit for inters? Do they pit for wets? What to do? What to do? What would you do, Ray?
I need to see how wet it's going to be. Because if it's not that wet, there's no point in putting inters on. But if it is, if there's more rain coming in, or harder rain coming in, then I'd be thinking inters. But I think from pull on to the end of the lap, if it's not going to get any heavier, I wouldn't go inters.
You know what, Steve F1, it's big time wide. Oh, he may get away with not getting a penalty there. How's Connor getting it on? He's in third, runs a little wide, but the speed though, Ray, was very, very low. I mean, normally the minimum speed through Blanchimont is nearly big spin on the AstroTurf, collects Gary. And Connor's spinning at the final corner.
Yeah. Oh, be careful coming back on track, Conrad.
Oh, okay.
That went to the pits.
Yeah, so is Steve F1. Demon R has carried on. Okay, so okay, we on the indicator at the bottom of the bottom left corner. We can see the level of water on the track. That's definitely in intermediate range, but it depends. I mean, okay, look at these third gear up Eau Rouge. That's so much slower than normal. But if they're all, there's 4 cars in the pits, and if they're all putting inters on, Ray, they're going to need the inters to work.
Yeah, Steve F1's filling up with fuel at the minute. I'm just keeping an eye on that timing screen and an eye.
See what tyres they go to.
I might scream in with what they're...
Okay, SGP has carried on as well. So has Formula Gary. Yeah, Gary's got...
Steve F1's on hards. He's come out in hards.
Interesting.
Fresh set.
Well, you know what?
Fresh set.
He's a fresh set. He's got a fresh set of tyres. Yeah. There's no windscreen wipers going. I think the rain has stopped.
Well, definitely this part of the track is it still pull on it.
Well, that's a good point. It might be not raining here. It might be raining further round. Artpal is also on the hard tyre. Conrad's gone to the intermediates. Conrad making the move, or looking at making the move with the inside. So Twilight...
If he's just came out the pits and that's how much damage he's got in his tyres, that tells you it's not ready. Yeah,
you're absolutely right there. The amount of wear on his tyres already. Yeah, because if it's too dry for inters, they will disintegrate. I mean, Conrad's making the move past Artpal now, so yes, he's got a bit more grip than Artpal, but Twilight's looking a bit twitchy there, and he's on the inters. Oh, you know what?
I suppose 10% going on to 20%.
Oh, look! Oh, it's got even more through Puon. Holy cow! Yeah. Oh, you know what? I reckon Connor will be looking at that and going,
There's no rain. There's no rain here.
Yeah, there isn't.
So the rain has stopped from here, is it? And it wasn't at the pit stop area either, so it must have stopped.
Yeah, absolutely. Demon R's carried on for another lap then, and if we look at the wetness indicator, it's kind of at that line, which is, yeah, you don't really need inters, and it does look like it's drying up quite quickly. So I think anybody that did go on the intermediate tyre is going to have to pit again. Yeah, look at this, Artpal. Yeah, making the move.
Conrad had half a second penalty as well.
Yes, yeah, you're right, he did. Sorry, Artpal, I thought you made a good move, but it was a penalty assistant. Okay, Artpal's closing in on the back of Steve F1. I wonder if Steve F1 had a penalty as well, because that gap has come down quite a bit, or it could just be the boost at that point.
He didn't before pitting Blanchimont.
Yeah, so he may have had to serve his penalty, yeah. That's a good point as well. You're making good points today, Ray. What's gone wrong with the world?
I don't know.
No, neither do I. Okay, Twilight, I don't know if he has pitted again yet. Yes, he has. He's only just got in the pits, so his interest. I mean, look at how sunny it's looking now. Okay, so interestingly, with it being a 16-lap race, the tyres, the hard tyres in sort of normal dry conditions, last about 4.5 laps. With it being a 16-lap race, the strategies would probably have been around doing a 4-lap stint. Maybe try a 5 lap somewhere if you need to get an undercut on someone, as Steve F1 looks like he might be trying to get a bit of heat in his tyres, which would be understandable in the damp conditions. But yeah, so the other thing as well with the stints, I mean, we've seen D&R, SGP and Formula Gary go long. Now, if the track had stayed dry, their tyres would be dying now. But because we've had that bit of rain, that will have cooled off the tyres and basically stopped them from wearing. So they may actually get a few more laps out of their tyres now. Whether it'll help with their strategy or not, I don't know. So yeah, so D&R tyres, the front tyres may be able to do one more lap. I don't know if you'd want to do another lap on them though.
Is it going to risk it? Let's see.
Well, yeah.
Hopefully.
Well, the other thing is as well, I mean, for D&R, SGP and Formula Gary, they might think that the likes of Steve F1, Art Pal put on the intermediate tyre. And perhaps the OS, okay, D&R is into the pit squad.
Yeah, D&R into the pits, that's what I was just going to say. But yeah, if they find that the rest are on intermediates and having to pit again, they might be in for a wee bit of a shock. Like,
yeah, absolutely. Okay, Gary's tyres are slightly worn now, but he has not pitted yet. Okay, Rich Blues, I think, is having a bit of a difficult race out there. He's coming out of the pits. So, yeah, I think Rich is having a bit of a tricky one, not helped with starting on the intermediate tyres in the dry conditions. I mean, we saw at one of the races, Ray, where Gary started, it was high speed ring, I think it was, started in the wet on dry tyres.
Nice.
Yeah.
Done 12 laps.
Yeah, well that's it. I mean, the first couple of laps were very, very difficult for him, but did a mega long stint on them and it worked. But if you're on the inters and on the dry, you can't do it, can you? I mean, as we saw with Rich, sort of 1.5 laps and the tyres were gone.
Yeah, you just can't do it because it's... The tyres are overheating, they're not cooled down.
D&R just coming out the pits behind Formula Gary, who, as I mentioned, has not pitted yet. But that means that Steve F1 and Arpal have both jumped D&R. And actually, you know what? We mentioned about the tyres not taking much punishment in the wetter conditions. With Steve F1 and Arpal pitting when they did, they missed the heaviest part of the rain, which happened while they were in the pits. But also, their first couple of laps, their tyres wouldn't have taken much punishment. Yes, you see, they've done 3 laps already on these tyres, I think. So they're going to be able to do a longer stint here. So this may have really worked out well for Steve F1 and Arpal. Because kind of what they've done is done that 4-4-4 strategy. But they've done 3-5. Because the tyres will be able to make this. That has definitely swung this race around. I mean, so for the likes of D&R, he's coming now down towards P1, probably thinking, okay, they're not on intermediate tyres. They have legit jumped me and undercut me, and now we've got a battle on.
Hopefully. Yeah. If he doesn't fuck it up.
Yeah. Quick question for you while we're waiting to see what happens here. What do you call a moose with no name?
What do you call a moose with no name? Don't know.
Anonymous!
Oh, Jesus.
SGP hasn't gone for the pit, so look at the slither he's got.
He's going to have trouble, isn't he?
Well, I think you're right. He's going to have trouble on this lap coming up, but the 6 to 10 seconds of pain that he will take will probably work better for him than pitting now. He might be thinking if he pits now, he's got an extra stop to do. So if he could save a pit stop, I mean, let's see. If he could do 5 laps and 5 laps after this, he may be able to do 1 stop less. Okay, Demon R's closing in on Art Pal. Connor, who pitted for the Inters and had to get rid of them a lap later, is now closing the gap up as well. Okay, so there's an interesting dynamic happening in this race here. That sort of sprinkling of rain has definitely sort of mixed things up a little bit, hasn't it?
Yeah. I just feel if SGP going that extra lap, these guys are gonna. He's not getting an overcut. He's gonna get undercut. I don't. Depends on that pit stop and what his strategy is. Though.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure yet.
I mean, this is the thing. If he can do one pit stop less, yes, he's getting undercut right now massively, but he could be saving himself 40 odd seconds by not pitting. So it'll be interesting to see how things pan out. But if anyone's Demon Art making the move on Art Pal into.
When did Connor pit?
Well, it pitted at the end of 3 and pitted at the end of 4. Demon Art and Art Pal still side by side. Connor! Oh!
It looks like he's pushing his tyres, sorry.
Yeah.
Because they looked pretty much worn
well,
for 2 laps.
Yeah, he probably has pushed them to try and sort of gather back any time lost from doing the extra pit stop. Demon R and Art Pal still side by side. And one of the things as well, Ray, with it having been a little bit of a wet track, off the racing line could still be a little bit greasy, but also the curbs and AstroTurf could be treacherous. So the drivers do have to be careful, because we do see on this track that the water does tend to hold on to the curbs and the AstroTurf quite a lot. So you see, I think that's what got Connor spinning a moment ago. It was getting on the AstroTurf as SGP is in the pits with no tyres and almost out of fuel. Oh yeah, 0 fuel. Okay, so Steve F1 coming through Blanchimont. I mean, let's see, how many laps is Steve F1 going to want to do here?
1, 2, 3.
Well, he's gone into the pits. Demon R hasn't followed. Demon R's got fresher tyres right now, and also, I mean,
there's Conrad's tyres.
Yeah.
When did he pit though? It's saying lap 6.
That's not correct. He pitted lap 3 and 4. So 3 is when he pitted for the Inters, 4 is when he pitted to get rid of the Inters. So 1, 2, 3. He's on his 4th lap, so they're about right actually. But this thing, if you're doing 4 lap stints on the tyres around here, you can push them, because Pal may get a penalty. He may get a penalty there. Isn't that a big hard-on collision into the barrier?
Stay near.
Yeah,
he's got time.
Yeah.
Nelly should see him and go round him. There we go.
He's navigated that properly. I mean, it's unfortunate he ended up running wide. That's the AstroTurf that I was on about though. And so Steve F1 coming out of the pits. He's behind SGP by a bit of a margin. Gary right up Steve F1's rear bumper. I think Gary may have just pitted as well. As was on the pack cam, we did just see Twilight. Okay, so Steve F1 here is going to get a bit of boost, so is SGP. So it'll be interesting. So they've pitted, how many laps we've got left to go? 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16.
Gary, stay in that bloody slipstream.
Okay, so there's 9 laps to go, including this one. So, yeah. For SGP and Steve F1, they're looking at probably having to do at least one more 5-lap stint. Okay. So Demon R, how are his tyres? Yeah, they're looking fine. I think they could do more laps, but I don't think it benefits Demon R to do more laps here, because Steve F1 and SGP are getting a major undercut on him. And looking at Demon R and Connor's tyres, I don't think they can go far enough to only pit one more time. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see both of these guys into the pits fairly soon and doing like a 4-4 stint to the end. So we'll have to wait and see. Nelly's got a bit of tyre life left. He may be tempted to go a few more laps. I don't know when it was. When did he pit? Lap 4 he pitted, so he could be on the 4-4-4-4. Art Pound, yeah, he's going to need the pits. Let's see, when did he pitted lap 3? So he's had a good stint here. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is his 5th lap. Yeah, and he's struggling to turn, get that into the pits. Also, he had that big spin and crashed, didn't he? Which would have... Demon R and Conrad are into the pits.
I'm not using them. Quite a lot of fuel compared to Demon R.
Yeah.
Oh well, the Demon R had fuel, that's the thing.
Yes,
I wasn't watching.
Yeah, I think Demon R filled up at the first stop. Yeah, quite possibly. I think it's one of those things where if there was more cars on the grid, the boost would kick in at a lower position down the field. So not taking full fuel would benefit, but when cars are going to regularly be getting boost, you may be better off filling it up and using the boost to your advantage. Okay, so Nelly leading the race then in his Dodge Viper. He's got a decent amount of time. SGP. See, now for him to save a pit stop, he's got to get to the end from here. Surely he can't get to the end from here.
What's that? 7 lap? 7.
And he's already done 2. He's done a lap 8 and he's on lap 9. So yeah, I don't know. Twilight's going to need to pit fairly soon. 8 laps.
What?
Yeah, see, I think that's a mega. I don't know if a mega ask, definitely. Okay, so Art Pal pitting. You see, he's put full fuel in, so this is where like putting the full fuel is a benefit, because yes, he's come out in 8th, but he'll get boost, so he can offset the time lost in the pits. Whereas like Nelly, see, he's gonna have what? I think he's only gonna have 1 more pit stop to do. So Nelly, I think, could still. He's in the fight for this as well, and it all depends on what happens from here on in, like who needs to pit again, and who doesn't. SGP's got the fuel to get to the end. I think
everybody's going to have to pit from here. I don't think people can do 8 laps on the tyres. We've not seen they go past 5, have we? 5?
No. Well, yes, SGP did 7 on the first stint, but that was aided with the colder weather and the wet weather. Demon R here closing in on the back of Gary as Nelly is into the pits. So Nelly's going for a what'll be 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Nelly's going for a 7-lap stint. Demon R making the move around the outside of Gary. I think Gary may be heading to Gary going for the pits. Nelly, if he's going to the end here, that's a 7-lap stint. I'm not sure about that. Okay, so this is definitely not an easy race to keep up with for exactly what's going on, because Demon R was leading the race in the first half of the race by a mile, but Steve F1 and Art Pal pitted for those slick tyres instead of Inters really made their race. SGP's kind of doing his own thing and he's leading the race at the moment. I'm sure he's got to pit again. But what he can probably do now, if he has got to pit again, he can push hard. Steve F1's got plenty of tyres, but I mean, let's see what they're going to want to do. I mean, it depends. Do they want to do a 4-lap stint at the end?
Oh,
a little wobbly.
The tyres screeching there.
It weren't the tyres, it was the driver. So it can't. So I think the next round of pit stops, I think it all depends on who's going to pit on what lap. Because if you can do 4.5 laps on the tyres, do you risk pitting on the 5th lap and going for the undercut? Oh, Connor, big wobble. Or do you go for a 4-lap stint and know the tyres will cope, but potentially get massively undercut? It's going to be interesting to see. I mean, I'm trying to see if I think Demon R is closing in on the back of Steve F1. So although Steve F1 has had a couple of undercuts over Demon R is closing in. But is he going to want to have to close up a gap again?
I think we'll find out in the next couple of laps who's going for the 4-lapper or who's going for the 5-lapper.
Well, while we're waiting to see what happens there, you know that today I went to play golf. What you don't know is that this morning I actually went to the local zoo. But I was a bit disappointed because all there was a dog there. That was it.
A what?
A dog.
Alright.
Yeah, it was a Shih Tzu.
Alright. You've already said that before.
Ah! Alright, okay.
Yeah, that's why I don't get. See,
what,
like,
Shih Tzu?
the homeless, they've always got a dog.
That is true. It's to keep them warm, I would guess.
Yeah.
But...
Do you not think they're investing in the wrong roof?
Oh my god. I genuinely didn't think that was going down the route of a joke. But well done, yeah, well done. Oh, bloody hell. Well, to counteract that, what do you call them?
I can't help it, it's because last night I accidentally took my cat's medicine. Don't ask
me how. Yeah. Okay, Demon R has definitely closed in on the back of Steve F1. And now if Demon R is thinking Steve F1 may go for another 5-lap stint here, he's going to want to get past him as quick as he can and try and make some gains, because in the practice session before the race, Demon R was, I think it was 9/10 of a second faster on a single lap pace. So Demon R has got pace in the car. So if he can get past, he may be able to open up a little bit of a gap. Because thinking about it, I mean, Steve F1 must be on his... What? How many laps has he done now? Where did he pit? 1, 2, 3. So he's only on his 4th lap, I think. So he's on a foot. Yeah. His tyres can probably go a bit longer, but I think Demon R's tyres are just considerably fresher at the moment. Well, while he's having a look up the inside into campus. Side by side, they go a bit on the curb. That could still be wet. Yeah, there isn't any grip around the outside. There's just Seaport.
He's still trying to hold it there, so he got the inside here, and then he's going to have the inside the next corner, hopefully. As we jump to SGP with. Is he going to do another lap? And is he going to suffer the pain for another lap, or is he going to go now?
I think he'll go now. I think Demon R can do another lap, maybe even 2 on his tyres. Steve F1. Okay, so yeah, that's why Steve F1 was struggling a little bit with Demon R behind him. Okay, 31% of fuel in his car. Demon R into the pit. Oh, sideways into the pits. Okay, is Steve F1 following him? Yes. So Demon R's got 49% of fuel, so we'll have a shorter stop than SGP. Steve F1's got 51% of fuel, so we'll have a shorter stop than Demon R and SGP. Okay, and it looks like they're all going to go for a 5-lap stint. Conrad and Artpal, though, they've carried on, so they're looking at doing the 4-lap stint at the end. Okay, so if we wanted to know, Ray, what's going to be the best thing to do here, a 5-lap stint or a 4-lap stint, we're about to find out. Because we've got 3 doing a 5 and 2 doing a 4, and a Nelly doing a 7.
Yeah, and it depends what Gary's doing and while he's doing.
Okay, so I'm keeping a sort of half an eye on the pack cam because I'm interested to see what happens. So SGP stopped fueling at 83, Demon R at 84, Steve F1 at 74. So Steve F1 has gone for a much shorter pit stop. And right on the arse of SGP on the pack cam. Wow, he's gained so much time in the pit stop.
Is that enough fuel?
Wow.
If he goes, I don't know who's in the right and who's in the wrong here, but if you get into a fighting situation, I know you use a lot more fuel. And I know Steve F1 can do some lifting and coasting because he's in that slipstream moment now, but he's got Demon R right up his chufter.
Yeah.
Now he's going to have to battle with Demon R as go into this chicane. Are they going to... Is Demon R just going to go for it? Or is he going to...
Oh, he's trying! Oh, that
Oh!
got very close there on the exit of the Lecombe chicane. It might not...
Demon R having his slam.
Yeah, it is.
Slap on the
A
brakes.
slapper.
Slam on the... Slam on the brakes.
Yeah. Okay, oh, Gary's there in the background as well. So Gary's not too far. Okay, Demon R right up the gearbox. Okay, we've had this conversation so many times in the past, Ray. In this situation, are these two better off working together? They're not doing that, but yeah. I mean, it's interesting.
They're keeping still in touch with SGP, but I think that gap's just growing slowly a wee bit bigger. Let's see how we go through these. It'll all depend on coming through here, the long kind of straight with Blanchimont.
Yeah.
Is Demon R going to sit behind Steve F1 or is he going to attack Steve F1? They can hold each other up here instead of pushing to get SGP, because at the moment SGP, well, Nelly's going to be net leader. I can't remember what Nelly's last lap was. Steve F1's went a wee bit wide there.
Yeah. I think he's alright though.
Here comes Gary as well.
Yeah, Gary's right in there. Oh, goes for the pits though.
He's gone for the pits.
Okay, so that gives Gary a 4-lap stint. So Conrad and Artpal have both pitted. Artpal will have a shorter stop than Connor, given the amount of fuel. What was interesting as well, you mentioned that Steve F1 would sort of be able to lift and coast when he was so close behind SGP. Demon R might not know that he needs to do that, so he may have just bump drafted him round half of the lap, while Steve F1 was also lifting and coasting a short shift. So for Steve F1, getting bump drafted while saving fuel will help you save fuel and still go fast. So as you said though, like after the Blanchimont, will he go for the move? And it's the same up here. At Spa, these are the best two places to go for the move. Is he going to pull to the inside? Yes, he is.
SGP's just getting that a little bit further away from Steve F1, so this might hand out to Demon R, but they're both sticking in it, side by side.
Yeah, Demon R just gets ahead. Steve F1 coming back on the inside. Oh, no, he's not.
Oh, no, he's not do that, but let's go for a switchback now. Yep. Steve F1, Demon R's not got the slipstream, so Steve F1 can use the slipstream benefit to help if he has to save fuel.
Demon R's gone wide though, and here comes Steve F1 back up the inside towards Pouon. Demon R
needs to park it. He
needs to park it. As well. Oh, you know,
here comes Artpal.
Oh,
he needs Artpal to get on the back of Demon R and give himself a wee bit of a breather.
Absolutely. And there's Conrad as well. You know what? We might have the answer here of what's better, the 4 or 5 lap stint. In this scenario, at the moment, you've got to think that it's the 4 because, I mean, the benefit for both Conrad and Artpal is that they have had the boost. And if we had have had more drivers, they may not have got the boost. Okay, but now we've got Nelly leading the race. Oh, Steve F1 trying to close the door. Demon R having a look up the inside. Here we go then up towards Blanchimont. It can be done side by side. Side by side they go. Artpal and Connor side by side. Steve F1 a bit wide. Conrad a bit wide. Artpal wide it was. Artpal tucks back in. Steve F1 manages to hold on to the position. How are the tyres looking for the laps they got, Ray?
Sorry, what?
How are the tyres looking for the laps that are remaining?
I think they're okay. There's only 3 laps to go.
Okay, Demon R.
Well, I've not seen Demon R's or Steve F1's got enough tyres.
Demon R tried having a look around the outside of La Source, couldn't get it done. But also, you don't really want to overtake at the source unless you can get into a slipstream of a car ahead. So Demon R bump drafting again. I think Demon R is definitely trying to sort of get ahead at the main points. Oh, you know what? It's starting to look a little bit fuzzy lights again, Ray.
Oh, is the rain going to come back and spoil at the party here?
Yeah, here we go. Side by side. Connor's having a look as well.
These two need to watch, because here comes Conrad and here comes Artpal, so they're blocking the road at the minute.
What?
Demon Hard needs to be. He would need to have been a wee bit tighter there. Conrad could have slipped up the inside there.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, this is going to be an interesting situation for Conrad and Arpal. Oh, Arpal's got a half-second penalty. Because if they could very easily trip themselves up here by sticking a nose in somewhere that's a bit risky. Whereas they do have a tyre advantage. So I think if they pick and choose their moments wisely, that could really... Demon R's tyres are not looking very healthy at the moment, I'll be honest. 2.5 laps out of them? I don't know. Kind of having a little look, not going for it though. Demon R trying to go around the outside.
I don't know. Do you think the cold weather might... Oh, Conrad's...
Maybe.
Conrad nearly got Demon R there. Demon R's a wee bit back from...
Well, interestingly, Demon R looked like he tried to go around the outside of Steve F1, but the grip wasn't there. And I don't think it's down to the tyre wear. I think it's just being off the racing line. And with it getting misty again, maybe, yeah, track temperature might be adjusting, the grip might not be there. So it's still ever so close then between these five. But let's not forget, Nelly is actually leading the race at the moment. And I believe he's going to the end. Okay, it's getting very close.
He's got to. What's going to be the benefit of putting that time lost? Is he going to gain it? Not 2 laps?
You know, if he'd have picked it a couple of laps ago, maybe Demon R having a look up the inside. Steve F1 tries to cover it off. Maybe Demon R's wanting the grip on the inside of the corner. Can he get it done? No, he can't. Steve F1 holds it round the outside. I am a bit
close up with Nelly. You can see Nelly just ahead of SGP, so...
But I can barely see these two, let alone Nelly. I think Demon R's taken out too much out of his tyres. You compare that to Conrad's tyres. Wow. And Arpal's going to have a similar...
They pitted later, didn't they?
Yes, they did, yeah.
So they've got fresh... They're going to have the official tyre. There's Demon R going round outside. He's got the move done here, but... Yep. Conrad...
Oh, it's going straight on! Oh, dear. Okay, I think is he getting physical? Oh, there's the 3 wide in the background, and on the pack. Oh, Demon R's got a penalty. Oh,
it's gonna jinx up. It's
Steve F1. Well, you know what? If Steve F1's tyres are a bit like Demon R's tyres, I think he may have been getting a little bit of understeer here. SGP's tyres. Oh, he's on Nelly. Okay. Yeah, here we go then. He's going for a switchback. No, up the inside. What a move. That's a good move on Knackers. That must mean that Nelly, oh look how wide Nelly's
wet.
Ooh! He's got another lap to do and those. He ain't getting another lap through them. No chance. Surely not. Okay, Steve F1 and Artpal still side by side. Demon R just ahead of Conrad, but Conrad with the fresher tyres. And don't forget, Demon R's got a 1 second penalty. Conrad's just got so much more grip here. It almost looks like...
just needs to sit behind Demon R till he gets his penalty.
Absolutely.
And not worry, and then just be careful of Nelly, because Nelly's got worn tyres. I think Conrad would know that if he just keeps an eye on that timing tower when he's pitting and figuring out when other people are pitting. I know it's hard to do and sometimes forget, because I fucking forget that I'm Scottish.
Oh, Steve F1 has slowed down. As Artpal trying to make the move on Nelly. We didn't see Conrad making the move on Nelly there. We may have done, but I was looking at Steve F1 in the background. Yeah, Steve F1 has slowed down and let Demon R through. Okay, Demon R's tyres. Okay, yeah.
Did Steve F1 have a penalty as well? Then. Did we see Steve F1 wide then?
I think he may have gone wide of Blanchimont. Okay, we'll get to that in a moment. Because looking at this, SGP is now on worn tyres, leading the race. His tyres are going to be sketchy on this last lap as the track. It almost looks like they're kicking up a bit of dampness, but there isn't any dampness. It's just misty as hell. And I'll be honest, it doesn't look this, like if we look at the pack cam view, it doesn't look that misty on board, but off board as a spectator here, it looks like it's pissing it down. But yeah, Conrad and Arpal with those fresh tyres, they could be reining in, no pun intended, SGP rather rapidly. Demon R's falling away from the back of Arpal, and Steve F1's up his chuff.
F1's on the back.
Half second penalty.
Who's got the half second penalty?
Steve
F1.
Yeah.
Oh, he needs to get past Demon Arm.
Yeah.
Trying.
Get more than half second ahead before the penalty zone. Yeah.
Yeah. Park it and get half a second. Steve F1's leading, isn't he? The championship at the moment. This is going to hurt him.
Oh, here we go. Conrad all over SGP. SGP's on the slithers. So SGP made the move on Nelly in that corner a lap or two ago, and Conrad absolutely.
Demon R wide. Oh. Steve F1's got him.
Yes, he has.
Steve F1's got him.
Okay. SGP's tyres have gone. Can he hold on?
Demon R's coming back.
No, that's Gary.
Who's that?
That's Gary on our
Gary's got Nelly.
Yeah.
Nelly.
Oh my days. Yeah, Gary has got Nelly.
There's Demon R in front of him. Sorry.
Oh, SGP!
SGP's gone.
Time wide.
He's gone.
Don't spin. Don't spin. Okay, Steve F1 and Demon R are past SGP. Nelly's coming. That's served the penalty. Demon R's got no time. Hold. What is happening in this race? Conrad.
He's going to have to slow so much down to get round.
Yeah, not get a penalty. So keep an eye on that pack up, folks. Conrad through the final corners. I didn't think this was going to be happening 3 laps ago.
That's how you win it, Conrad. That's how you win it.
Yeah, you spin it on inters and get rid of them. Gary's got past Demon R in the final chicane. Conrad first, Arpal second, Steve F1 third.
Steve one?
No, Steve third, Gary fourth, Demon R fifth, SGP sixth. Nelly's out of fuel. Oh dear, Nelly. Oh, Nelly.
He needed to put.
Yeah.
He should have put. He should have seen that gap coming down a wee bit and went.
I think if he'd have done it 3 laps from the end, maybe. Because I think Gary pitted with 4 to go, and Gary's ended up in 4th place here. Wow. Well, for anyone that was thinking partway through that race wasn't going to be entertaining, yeah, you're wrong. Holy cow. Okay, couple of things I need to...
I don't know how much more of my ticker can take. Thank God I've got my will in place in my last wish.
Oh, go on, what's your wish? Come on, give me your punchline.
My ashes to put in the wife's salsa.
Go on. So she can choke on you.
So.
Oh, you can tear her
ass one more time.
I thought you were going to say so she can make a choke one more time. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear. Right, okay. Couple of things to quickly cover there. Okay. So
I need a drink. I'll let you cover while I have a drink.
Okay, so I believe Demon R, when he made the move on Steve F1 and went straight on, I think he may have been knocked from behind by Steve F1, which is why Steve F1 waited for Demon R and let him through after Demon R had served the penalty, because it's one of the rules in DGT League that if you do knock somebody wide off the track and they get a penalty, yes, you need to let them back through. But what you also need to do is make sure that you are behind them when they serve said penalty, because obviously they didn't deserve the penalty. So well done, and thank you, Steve F1, for doing that. It's not easy to do, especially when you're in fights for championships and stuff like that. But unfortunately for Steve F1, with the worn tyres, when he slowed down to let Demon R through, he ended up running wide and got a half-second penalty there as well. So that's massively unfortunate for Steve F1. In the grand scheme of things, though, it worked out okay for him in reference to Demon R, because he did finish ahead. But yeah, so it just goes to show great etiquette there from Steve F1. But what else was I going to say? Okay, so Rich Blues, I do believe did sit in the pit lane for quite a bit of that race. I do believe he did complete I think he might have completed the final lap. However, Rich was having a tough race, and well, to be honest, he was going to retire, but we were able to convince him to park it in the pits rather than quit and leave, because unfortunately, if you quit and leave, it does affect where the boost level works. And it's one of those things, if we start with 9 cars, at least we know where the boost position is going to be. If that then goes to 8 cars, then it obviously gets affected. I do believe... Yeah.
Oh, sorry, but you didn't do so.
That's all right. Well, I was just going to say that...
That's why I've got 6 kids.
Yeah. Well, you need to butt in. You'd end up with none. Well, no more anyway. But yeah, also Twilight. I mentioned obviously that he's suffering with severe leg issues, which is why he wasn't on his wheel and his pedals.
Whiskey down.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Nah, pick it up. Like, you could put whiskey down. The only place you could put whiskey down is your throat. So yeah, Twilight unfortunately didn't make it to the end of the race either, which is yeah, it's a bit of a shame. But yeah, it can be a very tough one. But races like today race, one of the reasons why I know people aren't always available to practice, but if you are able, even if it's just 20 minutes in the race where we make sure there's going to be a bit of rain, it can give you that opportunity to at least drive a car in the wet, or at least make sure you got the right tyres.
Well, I don't know, because Connor put the wrong tyres on from our perspective, but from his perspective, he put the right tyres on because he also had to spin.
Yeah,
he's won it.
Well, yeah. I mean, the interesting thing is, I am aware that with Conrad, one of the reasons he went for the intermediate tyres, and I mean, very interesting. This actually, so we did have a conversation after the race, behind the scenes, with Conrad. Connor wasn't aware that the weather we get in qualifying is the weather that we'll get at the start of the race. So in the qualifying session, it was a very... I mean, I quickly mentioned it as we were getting to the grid, that it was an interesting, difficult qualifying session, because we had the weather that we had at the start of the race. And obviously, it takes 2 minutes to do an out lap, or 2.5 minutes to do an out lap, 2.5 minutes to do a lap, and then the rain came down on the 3rd lap. Now, when that rain came down, some drivers pitted, some didn't. Now, Conrad didn't pit. He tried to drive through the wet weather, which is the same as what Demon R did and SGP did. Now, Conrad told me that he spun out on the hard tyres through that wet moment in qualifying. So his move to the intermediate tyre wasn't premeditated on, oh, I know rain's going to come, I'm going to pit, because he didn't know that the rain was going to come. It was, he saw rain is coming and thought, okay, I don't want to stay on the slick tyres because I spun on them. So he went to the intermediate tyres, which I think for him was the right choice to make, because it's like I said last week, be on the right tyres at the right time, which Steve F1 and Art Pal judged it beautifully at that first pit stop. Conrad did the intermediate tyres, it worked for 1 lap, had to pit again, but no problem. I don't think he spun on the intermediate tyres, did he? He spun when he pitted and put the slicks on. Yeah, so he spun on slicks on the curb and the Astro. So yeah. But, I mean, he's managed to get it all the way through and win the race as well. So, a very interesting one. Now, I can tell you as well, though, he has been practicing already for the next race. Oh, yeah, he's been messaging me today. He says, I finally got the settings. I've done a bit of practice. And my response to him was, you having practice is going to be difficult to beat. Which it is. Because like you said, Connor's not had practice for this race. And he's managed to win it. But I also think, Ray, we saw
What's nice track? What's nice track?
Nürburgring GP, which, if it rains there, that's going to be one slippery bloody track, because a lot like if it rains at Suzuka, or Red Bull Ring was another one. When it rains at Red Bull Ring, because you're crossing over the racing line so often, it gets so slippery. In the Nürburgring, you're crossing over the racing line all the time if it's wet. So it's very tricky, but it'll be interesting to see how it gets on there. There was something else I was going to mention to you as well, and I've kind of forgotten it. Oh well.
Already? Jesus.
Yeah. Okay. What do you call a monkey playing with a firework?
Yeah.
A baboom! You know what? There really was something I was going to mention.
Hey, you said when we done this footage, hope you've got your jokes ready.
For the race. Yeah.
Quiet time. There was a little bit of quiet time, but you filled it in with information.
yeah, I did. Apologies, folks. Yeah. But yeah, bit of an odd one. Okay, yeah. So the next race is at the Nürburgring. If it stays dry, it's a lovely track. If it doesn't stay dry, it's not a nice track. I've just remembered what I was going to mention. So Conrad, not having had any practice, wins this race. I think a big feature of that is because when he and Art Powell did their last pit stop, they did not battle each other. They used that boost, caught up, and when they caught up, they didn't battle. Yes, Conrad made a move on Art Powell. Art Powell also got a half-second penalty in that. But they didn't do anything stupid in that position that I know of anyway.
It was more of a sit and wait, wasn't it?
Sit and wait and let the cars in front lose their tyres. But yeah, it was a much more thought through drive from the both of them. Now, unfortunately, what happened with Demon R and then with Steve F1, we saw a little bit of bumping with Steve F1, Art Power, and I think Conor May. We didn't have a very good view of that, so I genuinely have no idea what happened at that point. So I don't know if anybody might have done anything a bit risky, but we'll have to we'll have to wait and see, or perhaps never see. Who knows? But yeah, Nelly was unfortunate with his tyres. Well, even if his tyres had lasted, his fuel didn't. Yeah, bit of a shame that for Nelly.
Yeah, I think if he pitted when he's seen the time from him and SGP coming down, it might have had. Well, would he have wanted to pit when they had the. Well, yeah, because it would have been on better tyres than SGP. We know SGP was off at, what was it, the double right-hander before Blanchimont?
Yeah, Stavolo, yeah.
SGP went off, so we'd have had the better tyres and possibly a chance, but you got to give it up to Conrad and Artpal. They timed that.
Smashed it out of the ballpark. Well, I mean, we did say which is going to be the right decision. I mean, doing the 5 or 4. I mean, Demon R and Steve F1 had go on.
Here's a question to ask for Artpal and Conrad. Have you never seen the people in front pit? Which is have pitted instead?
Oh, so do you mean if SGP, Demon R and Steve F1 had gone on for another lap, would they have pitted for the undercut?
So would it have been a switcheroo?
Well, maybe, but I think if they had have done, I think from what we've seen here, it wouldn't have worked.
Yeah. But it was just something that if they went, shit, there's 3 people pitting, I'm not going to get much boost now if I pit as well. Where if yous didn't pit, they went, right, we can pit and try and get some boost, but then yous would have pitted in.
I mean, it's a good question. It's a good. I mean, maybe we'll get an answer from them. We'll have to wait and see. I mean, it is a genuine. You're on fire today, Ray. It's a good job your daughter. Well, it's a good job your daughter's a fire cadet because she'll know how to put you out. But yeah, it's a great question.
Just to see their thought process at that moment of time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You've actually baffled me with good questions here. I got a question for you actually. Why are English people bad at chess?
Why are English people bad at chess?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because they lost their queen.
Oh, Jesus.
Why are Americans bad at chess?
Well, why have the English, the Americans lost? I don't know.
Because they lost their towers.
What's the fuck, the towers? Bishops?
No, yeah.
Alright.
Well, the castles. Not the bishops. Why can't my 10-year-old little brother play chess?
He doesn't know how to.
Because he's not allowed near bishops. You like that one. Okay, I've got one more.
Well, I don't like churches anyway, so...
no, how long did Dave work in a bar?
I don't know, I need to go and ask him.
Well, I don't know either, but how long works in a Chinese restaurant?
You're getting towards that line.
I am, yeah. That's the last one. So I apologize. Sorry, folks. Obviously, they're just jokes. I wish I could do an impression of Donald Trump. Because Donald Trump doing dodgy jokes on a press conference would actually be quite funny. Jokes.
Yeah, that's the thing. But if another Chinese said, or a Chinese person said, or that joke to you, it wouldn't be racist. Same as another black person makes a black joke or calls somebody that word that we can't use. It's not racist. But as soon as a white person uses it, it's racist. It's just messed up, and then all these people that get offended for... I don't have time for people that like that.
You know what? It's interesting. So this is slightly off topic and is not a joke at all. So I think it was Holly's friend's little brother. Had, you know, our kids pick up words, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's some brilliant funny videos on YouTube and TikTok and Facebook of kids swearing. Like, I think was it you that shared one of the little girl about to walk out of the room and the mum says, "Where are you going?" "Taking a shit." And it's funny, right? But when a little boy doesn't know any better and is at school and drops the N-bomb, having no idea what it means, yeah, you end up with problems. So yeah,
you've everybody at your door.
And to a degree, rightly so. I mean, it's one of those things. Yeah, no one should ever use that. Oh, excuse me. But anyway,
there was sayings back in the day. You used to say like, "Where's mum gone?" and your dad would say, "She's ran away with a person," and you wouldn't. You just laugh and know that she's out somewhere, or she's having a night out and with her friends.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
And But just the world's went to fucking shit, isn't it?
Yes, it has. Yeah, I mean when Jimmy Carr gets banned and Ricky Gervais gets banned, we know we're in trouble. Right. Anyway, okay, enough political and real world waffle from us. As mentioned, next race is the Nürburgring. Also, I actually want to mention, I know a few of the drivers have been asking us recently about the information about a potential change of race days and stuff like that, and we've not been able to give any answers other than nothing's been decided yet.
Saturday midnight.
Hey,
There you
what?
go.
What?
Saturday at midnight.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
When the bells start ringing, we start going.
well, what you do in the bedroom is entirely up to you, Ray. But yeah,
He's asleep by 9 o'clock. What are you
well,
talking about?
well, that's even worse. So anyway, yeah. So nothing's been decided yet. Things are still in the pipeline. There's still things that are being discussed. Yeah. I mean, I don't want to say anything that I shouldn't say, but what I will say is that it does look like things are going to continue on. However, we just haven't confirmed anything yet. We do have a potential car chosen for the next championship. Obviously, if one goes ahead.
It's that new van.
Yeah,
Mitsubishi van.
Yeah, the one that's been dropped on the latest update. Which, you know what, actually, right, because it is to do with what we're involved in. I will mention a little bit about that. Okay. Because obviously a few of us have different views on the update. Personally, I think it has been called an update when it isn't an update. It was a maintenance update. So it was an update to fix some things in the game. And while doing that, they've dropped a few cars as well. They've put a couple of cars in, which is okay. Except for the fact that the cars that they have put in are a complete waste of time. If they'd have dropped one car that was a modern race car, we'd be happy with that. Not another Nissan GTR of a different spec, another Mitsubishi Evo of a different spec, and a van, which, don't get me wrong, we probably will race the van at some point for a laugh. But it's not what the customer base of Gran Turismo wants. We don't want loads of the same road car. We want modern day, up to date race cars. And unfortunately, I think GT is at risk of losing their fan base if they do not provide these cars. And the reason I say that is I was aware that the maintenance was happening because we got the notification on PlayStation, and when it got brought out and was posted on Facebook, I decided to go reading through the comments, and every single comment, there was like 180 comments like within 2 minutes, and every single one of them talked about the pointless cars and where are the cars that we really want, some race cars, modern race cars. Every single comment was about that. So if you're at Gran Turismo, you've got to be looking at this stuff and going, we're not providing what our customers want.
I've got one theory. They don't understand what we're saying.
There is that possibility, yeah. I mean, maybe translation isn't easy. I mean, okay, you know how Honda in Formula 1 rejoined with McLaren and it was an absolute disaster? Well, when that happened, Mercedes offered their services to help Honda with said engine, which was GP2 engine, and Honda refused. Now, some people will say, well, that's bloody stupid. But unfortunately for the Japanese, they are such a proud nation that it is in their nature to refuse assistance and do it themselves, even if that means failing. Now, in the past, their failure would have ended up in lying on your sword. Nowadays, you probably just lose your job. But it could be a similar situation with Gran Turismo, where it doesn't matter what anybody says, they'll do what they want to do. The problem they'll have is, if the likes of Assetto Corsa could have better lobby settings and a few extra things, it could take over from GT because it's got more modern race cars. Now, to its downfall with Assetto Corsa, it is a bit limited with the cars that it has. I think you got like GT race cars. I mean, you probably know better than I do, but yes, you've got race cars, but it's like 2 or 3 classes of cars, and that's it. But they have cars on there that GT doesn't have, like Bentley Group, like GT race cars, and different things like that. I'm not sure if you know of any other cars.
I've not been on it recently, so I can't remember. That's been.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I mean, GT7 from the physics side of things has got considerably better, with not necessarily the latest update, the maintenance update, but the physics update prior to that. Massive improvement in the handling of the cars and the physics of the cars and the feel through the wheels. A much better game. And for example, Steve F1 has been talking. I mean, I know I was talking to him, and he was saying about Gran Turismo's physics is considerably better than Assetto Corsa's. And I know personally, I think the physics are considerably better than the Formula 1 games. I mean, when we tried one of the recent Formula 1 games, the best thing about the F1 game was the F2 cars, which says all you need to know about the F1 game. So yeah, GT is there with the physics. What they're not there with is providing what the customer base really wants, which is those modern race cars. And if they can't provide them, tell us why. If it's we can't get them for licensing purposes, okay, we can understand that, right?
Why couldn't they get them for licensing purposes, but if they've got the badges already and the cars already of the manufacturers?
Well, this is the thing. When it comes to the licensing, it's very dependent on the wording. So, okay, so I mean, the cars that are on the game, obviously they have license to use. Now we're using a Dodge Viper Group 4 here. Now there may be at the last Le Mans, Jenson Button raced in a Mustang, didn't he?
NASCAR?
Oh, sorry, yes, NASCAR. Okay, now that NASCAR was either a Ford or a Dodge or Chevy, whichever one it was. Now, Gran Turismo has Ford, Chevy, Dodge, Toyota, all of them, all on the game. But they haven't got the license, I would guess, for that car. So although
Because it's NASCAR.
Yeah, well, because it's the specific car. And I think Ferrari were massively to blame for this many years ago, because they had very strict limitations on what could be used and how it could be used on the game. So I don't know if you remember, but many GTs ago, they had a lot of Ferrari F1 cars from the Schumacher era. They didn't have many of the road cars or any other race cars of Ferrari, because Ferrari wouldn't give them the license to do it. And when the damage model came in, they wouldn't give them the license because they didn't want their cars being shown getting damaged, which is bloody ridiculous. Whereas you look at Honda are basically like, now put what you want on, apart from the current race cars. Okay, well, why are they not getting put on? And I would guess, it's from the licensing. Now, whether it's the licensing to do with a category of race, so like official GT3 races or Pro-Am races or World Endurance Championships. So like we've got a couple of the LMP1 cars. I think there's a couple of the 2022s, but we haven't got all of them. So it's like, okay, we've got license for one or two of the cars, and I think they're ones that have won championships, but they haven't got license for the rest of them. So it probably comes down to the wording of the licenses to the category of cars and different things like that. But yeah, I mean, it's all pretty much ridiculous. But as another example, you may or may not remember, there used to be a game called Ferrari Challenge. When Ferrari Challenge was out, Ferrari didn't want race cars of Ferrari in any other game other than Formula 1, because they wanted people to, if they're going to race a Ferrari, wanted to get them to do it on Ferrari Challenge. Problem was the game wasn't very good. It paled in comparison to the Gran Turismos of the time, the Dirts, the Grids, and even the Need for Speeds. But they did have some brilliant cars on there, like current time cars as well. But yeah, unfortunately the game was good enough. But because they had their own game, they wouldn't allow race cars on any other game, which just goes to show how petty they can be sometimes. But also, let's not forget with GT, are they still affiliated with the FIA? I'm not sure. I can't remember. Obviously, they were sort of running FIA affiliated championships, weren't they? And
was that the eSport?
Yeah, like the eSports championships and stuff like that. And if they have FIA backing, there are benefits to that, but there also be limitations to that. So I know. Obviously people want more tracks, and so do I. GT should have more tracks. There should be a Silverstone, a Donington, a Monaco, so many, a Circuit of the Americas, so many tracks that Gran Turismo could have. And the simple thing to say is, oh, they just can't be arsed. Well, actually, I think they're legally tied to not be able to get some of these places, which is really, really frustrating. Now, if it turns out that they can't be asked, then obviously that's massively disappointing, and they will lose their fan base. But this is why, if they are restricted by contracts and legal stuff, then just say it. Say we can't provide that, because we can't get the licenses for it. We haven't got the licenses for it. I mean, let's not forget, that World Endurance Championship game that was supposed to come out, and the company that was supposed to do it basically went bankrupt. They getting the licenses for the World Endurance Championship category and the GT1s and 2s, I think it was. They had exclusive.
Was that LM? Something it was called,
like Le Mans, something like that.
Yeah, it came out.
Yeah.
It was shite.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It came out on a base model with the LMP1 cars, I think it was, or the prototype cars, whichever it is. Not the full category of cars. So they were also due to do like British touring cars or world touring cars. So they basically. Is that
not another company?
Well, if you hang on 1 second, if I remember rightly, they bought the exclusive rights to those particular licenses, which means that
Motorsport or something.
Yes, Motorsport games.
Le Mans Ultimate is the one that was the Le Mans. That one's big.
Yeah.
I got a huge update 2 days ago. Well, 2 days ago, according. But I've not seen any streamers on it at the minute.
Yeah. So from what I can remember, yeah, so Motorsport Games bought up all the licenses that they had exclusivity on, which means for the likes of Gran Turismo, they couldn't then put those specific cars or categories on their game, which screws over the customer base. Motorsport Games then basically go bankrupt, but still have the licenses, which I believe Studio 365, who were running R Factor 2, bought up the license, or bought some of the licenses, because Motorsport Games were basically using an R Factor 2 base to make the game. So Studio 365, I believe, bought up the licenses, but then Studio 365 has been bought by someone else. Whether they're doing anything with the licenses or not, I don't know, but I believe they're still exclusive. So they can sit on it, and it may be a case of the likes of Gran
Sorry, what was that? Sorry, what was that? I was searching.
So I'm basically like whoever owns Studio 365 at the moment has hold of the licenses, which they may do something with, but they've still got exclusivity. So the likes of Gran Turismo, who may want to provide those particular categories of cars, or like World Touring cars, or modern day British Touring cars, whatever it may be, they can't get the license. So they'll be saying to the new owners of Studio 365, we want to be able to use those cars, will you give us access to the license? And they go, yeah, for X amount of millions. Gran Turismo says, we're not going to pay that. Now you're at a standoff. But if that's what happens, Gran Turismo could easily say, this is why we can't provide you these cars. We want to, and we've tried to, but they want X amount of millions, because I bet it will be in the millions, to buy the exclusive licenses. Which they're probably not going to want to do. So yeah, but it's like I say. I mean, you think about how we try and run our league as transparently as we can. And sometimes people will ask us questions and we haven't got an answer for them yet. A bit like with the date change kind of stuff and things like that. Or have you picked the next car yet? Well, if we have, we might tell you we have, but we haven't finalised the details. But we do try and be as transparent as possible, same with the stewarding stuff and the admin stuff. If we weren't transparent, it then just opens that gateway for people to think whatever they might want to think, which could be very, very wrong. So there we go. Anyway, rant over.
Sooner or later.
Yeah. Well, that I think that was about a 20-minute rant of a couple of different things. So apologies, folks, but it is kind of racing related. But yeah, I mean, I know as well. Like, so Critical wasn't able to join us in the race today. We've talked before about him having problems with his wheel, and he has been trying the wheel on other games, and it's been working absolutely fine. But for some reason, GT7 it just has issues, which would suggest that it's not a wheel issue, it's some kind of calibration issue with Gran Turismo. There's a problem for whatever reason. Gran Turismo does not like that particular wheel, which is an issue for Critical. So last time it happened on practice, he's not been able to get the wheel to work again on Gran Turismo 7 at the moment, and that's why he wasn't able to join us, which is massively frustrating for him.
When was that? First times?
The GT update, it was so basically Thursday early hours, so it was Thursday.
But it was practice Monday, it wasn't working, because
yeah,
I was wondering if it was the update, but
no, it wasn't the update. Now on the update, I do know that they did tweak some things for some Fanatec wheels, but it wasn't to do with that.
That out.
Yeah, from what I read, I think it was a specific wheel, and it wasn't to do with like connectivity issues. It was to do with level of force feedback, and mentioning how that changed and that you might have to go in and change the settings. But obviously that's not the issue he's got. The issue he has is it basically shuts off, or something like that, gets no gears, and has to reset the wheel, which is ridiculous.
Even one of the biggest GT7 streamers are having issues, and it seems like the same issue, but I don't know why his wheel isn't coming back into life.
On this occasion.
Game.
Yeah. But it's like, I mean, it's one of those things where if it was having the issue on every game, you could go, okay, there's a wheel issue here, but it's not on every game. It's just on GT. And unfortunately, with Fanatec going bust, he's probably not going to be able to do anything about it.
Crosshairs might be taking it. Yeah. It's in. I heard it in the background, but I'm not too sure.
Well, hopefully. I mean, I know he's put a warranty claim in, but I don't know whether he'd be able to.
That's alright, because when Moza get their right to the GT7 game, I'll tell them my Fanatec.
Yeah, but yeah. Well, hopefully things will get better for him and his wheel. Right, okay. I think it's time we bring this one to an end. Go on, you were about to say something.
No, we're stretching.
Oh, right. I thought you were about to go. And, okay, right. Ray, thank you very much for joining us on commentary and the waffle afterwards.
Yeah, no worries.
And we'll give you a countdown to pressing stop. In 3, 2, 1. We'll see you soon, Ray. And in a moment, we'll check out the conference race result and the champion stand. Also, by the way, folks, if I have to publish the video before I get to see the any stewarding results, then I'll update that next week. I don't know if I'm going to be away or not, so we'll see. Right. Yeah, have a good one, Ray. We'll see you in a bit.
Ta-ta.
Okay, let's take a look at the unconfirmed race result. Reason being, at the time of me producing the video, we haven't done the stewarding yet, and I'm going away for the weekend. So this is going to be pre-stewarding, and if there is any points adjustments to be made, I'll sort that out on next week's video. So the unconfirmed race result then: Conrad with the victory, maximum 20 points. Art Powell second place, Steve F1 in third. Formula Gary in fourth place, Demon R in fifth place, SGP in sixth, Nelly in seventh, and then we had Rich Blues and Twilight, who both did not finish. A quick touch on that: Rich Blues, yes, technically did do, I think, the last lap of the race. However, he is classified as a DNF. Reason being, he was going to retire from the race and leave the lobby, which can be understandable when you get frustrated. However, we were able to convince him to not do that so that it wouldn't affect the boost level. So Rich did park it in the pits until the last lap of the race. So he's not going to be classified for points because he was going to leave, and the only reason he didn't is because we asked him not to. Twilight, I think, did leave on the last lap or the penultimate lap, so doesn't get qualified either. Okay, so we'll take a look at what that has done to the standings prior to any adjustments that may need to be made. The reason I say may need to be made is because I think there has been a couple of reports in, but obviously we haven't looked at them yet. Okay, so the standings then: Steve F1 on 83 points, 6 now ahead of Demon R in second. Art Powell moves up to third place, he's 4 ahead of SGP, who is in fourth. Conrad now jumps up to fifth place on 46 points. Bit of a gap between himself and SGP, but he is now 3 ahead of Jimmy and Formula Gary, who are tied 6th place. Nelly, 13 points back in 8th place. And then we've got a couple of points to Critical in 9th. Jason down to 10th place on 25 points, and Twilight in 11th on 18, with Rich Blues in 12th on 17 and Hay in 13th on 14. Give you a little bit of information as well. Jason unfortunately wasn't able to race today because the game update which was done on race day for us. Unfortunately, when Jason went to do the update, it was taking a ridiculously long amount of time. So as an example, when I did the update, I think it took about 45 seconds for me. For Jason, I think after about 20 minutes it had got to 5%, and at that point it was now like 8:05. We put in a 10-minute delay to see if we could get him in, and after 10 minutes he was on 6%. So yeah, unfortunately Jason wasn't able to race there. Bob has been in touch recently. He's been able to make Thursdays at the moment, which is a shame. Hopefully we'll get him back on the track soon. Okay, right, that's all for today. Obviously it's been a bit of a long video, folks, so apologies for that, but hopefully at least some of the waffle is of interest. Right, as we mentioned, next track is the Nürburgring GP circuit. It'll be interesting if it rains, and if it doesn't, we could be in for one hell of a race anyway. Right, thanks for listening, watching. You know what to do. Hit that like, subscribe, notifications bell, and thanks for watching, and we'll see you all again soon.